Warning, there is a good chance Bitcoin Mike has no idea what he's talking about. Do your own research. Enjoy the show. Thank you. Folks, we got Bitcoin on a little bit of a dump. We're down about $1,000 since yesterday. Apparently, there was a big liquidation of longs, leverage trading and such, which usually causes these big dumps. This is par for the course. Every month or two, we either get a big pump or a big dump. We've been going up for a while. We were due for a dump. I'd like to see Bitcoin hang out above $28,000. Could we go back down to $25,000? I guess that's possible, but there would have to be some really bad news. So Bitcoin down about 3%. You got some of these altcoins hit a lot harder. Cardano back down to 42 cents. Dogecoin's actually holding up pretty good comparatively. Solana down 6%. Litecoin back down to $93. I'll be picking up more Litecoin at under $90, preferably under $85 for me. And of course, you got VeChain at 2.5 cents, and Theta back down to $1.11. So yes, we did have a short liquidation. That's what pretty much caused this dump from everything I can see. And that's it. you know, we get these volatile movements in the crypto market. I know a lot of people are going to get scared. They're going to pull out. They're going to think we're going back down to 15K. But you have to understand, if you just even look at this Bitcoin chart, you know, even going back to 2019 when we dumped all the way down to $3,000, then we're up to $11,000. You know, then we're back down to $8,000. Then we're all the way back down to $6,000 during COVID. Then back up to $11. So, or $11,000. It's a wave. Bitcoin is a wave. You can't deny it. A volatile wave, and thankfully it is a volatile wave, because if it isn't, none of us will make any money. So yeah, we're on a little bit of a dump. Let's see what happens. I think we're probably going to go back up in the next couple of days, but anything could happen. So the big thing everybody's talking about is this whole SEC Gary Gensler. He was in Congress yesterday being grilled by a bunch of Democrats and Republicans. Of course, you know, the Democrats went really easy on Gary Gensler, which I don't know how you can be in cryptocurrency and be a Democrat. They're pretty much trying to put you out of business. But here's a little bit of this one majority whip Emmer going after Gary Gensler. And like I've said before with Gary Gensler, everything he's doing is predictable. You know, a lot of people wanted the hands off on cryptocurrency from the SEC over the last 5 years. SEC really did nothing, and everything collapsed. FTX, Luna, UST, everything collapsed all around them. So now people are out for blood. They're out for the SEC, and the only way the SEC and Gary Gensler can stay in power is if they come down hard on cryptocurrency. Well, at least in their mind, that's how they can stay in power. Because if something crashes in 2 years, at least they can come out now and say, well, we tried to sue everybody. We said everything was a security, so you can't blame us. It's all about staying in power. It's not about Gary Gensler liking cryptocurrency or he doesn't like it. Gary Gensler just wants to keep his job and stay in power. These are power jobs. And the easiest thing for this government bureaucrat to do is just sue everybody and say crypto is a scam. It doesn't look like it's working. You're seeing a lot of companies leaving the United States. A lot of these senators, politicians are getting pissed off at Gary Gensler, because I'm sure they're in cryptocurrency as well. So I think Gary Gensler's days probably are numbered, you know, after watching this hearing. So here's a little bit of it. I mean, they really came down hard on him. It's pretty obvious that he's not liked. Gary Gensler is not liked.
Financial products and services in the United States than it was, say, 2 years ago.
Sir, I'm not running one of those businesses. If they came into compliance, I think
Reclaiming my time. The answer, sir, is yes. Do you think you and the SEC have had a role to play in that?
I think we have a role to protect the American investor and the capital markets and the...
Reclaiming my time, sir. You have played an obvious role in that. During your tenure at the SEC, how many rules has the SEC finalized that actually accommodate the existing regulatory framework and are specifically to the digital asset industry so the crypto market can come into compliance?
It's their rule books that are on the books for years, so we have not finalized any new rule specifically with regard to crypto. We've proposed some things in best execution. We've also...
Sir, reclaiming my time, the answer is zero. And how many enforcement actions has the SEC levied against digital asset companies during your tenure, sir?
I think it's probably 40 or 50.
The answer, sir, is about 55. My understanding is that the biggest crypto failure in history is probably FTX at $9 billion. Were you the chairman of the SEC when FTX collapsed?
Yes.
And how many times did you meet with FTX prior to their collapse?
I think my public...
Anyway, this goes on and on. Gary Gensler really doesn't answer any questions. They try to get him to do a bunch of yes or no answers. He won't give any answers whatsoever. He basically just rambles. But this is what happened, folks. You know, a lot of people say, Gary Gensler, he's responsible for FTX. I mean, I don't really think he is. FTX was an international company. How is Gary Gensler supposed to regulate an international company? FTX went bankrupt, but it went bankrupt like out of the Bahamas. Not to mention, if you were a U.S. customer, you weren't even supposed to be using FTX. You were supposed to be using FTX.US, which I believe people will get their money back from that. So I don't think there's really much Gary Gensler could have done to protect people from FTX International. I mean, I don't know how a U.S. regulator goes after a foreign company. But this is why Gary Gensler is doing what he's doing right now and coming down on everything hard, suing everything, calling everything a security, because if he did all that 5 years ago, he wouldn't be in the hot seat right now. He could just say, hey, look, we tried to sue him. And the court said they were a security or they weren't a security. So it's all about preserving power. Yes, Gary Gensler's a weasel. I don't like the guy or anything like that. He's not good for crypto. Yeah, I get it. And that's why a lot of companies, even Coinbase, I just saw this article, Coinbase could move away from US if no regulatory clarity comes about. The only way we're going to get regulatory clarity in this country is if the Republicans get elected, i.e. Donald Trump, even like DeSantis or something like that. The liberal Democrats have no interest whatsoever in regulating crypto. Gary Gensler has no interest whatsoever. If you were to see something like Coinbase move to like Europe, that would be sad. But look, folks, crypto will prevail. You know, half the coins I even own you can't get on Coinbase or Binance.us. All my metaverse coins, my AI coins, I've got so much crypto. Hex. There's so many I can't even name. So whether Coinbase moves away or not, it doesn't matter to me. I'll still find a way to get crypto. You got MetaMask, you got Trust Wallet, you got all sorts of swap methods to get crypto. But it is sad that what the U.S. is doing by kicking out crypto, they're basically just hampering innovation, and other countries like China are going to come in and steal all the crypto thunder. And then 5, 10, 15 years down the line, when crypto is a mainstream currency and most of the businesses are built around crypto, the U.S. won't have any. So the U.S. will be like a third world country when it comes to tech and crypto. And that's pretty pathetic. And that goes back to what I was talking about a couple of days ago about getting out of the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. politicians are absolutely destroying the U.S. dollar, and they're destroying this country. I mean, you walk around half these cities, it's a third world country. You got shit on the floor, you got hookers and crack pipes. Now the dollar's being devalued. Other countries are looking to get out of the dollar. The next big industry is obviously crypto and AI, and now the U.S. is trying to kick out all the crypto companies. It's not looking too good for the U.S., and I blame mostly Republicans on that one. Or not Republicans, Democrats, but the Republicans aren't great either. But I think at least with the Republicans, they can see the writing on the wall, because Republicans are all about business, and they can say, wait. We might not be the biggest fan in the world of crypto, but we're not going to let China and Europe take all the crypto business. So it's not looking too good, folks. But even if crypto does get flushed out and Coinbase goes away and all those other things, at least we can still get our crypto. And I don't think it's going to kill Bitcoin or anything like that. It's not going to if Coinbase announces they're moving to UK or China or wherever, yeah, the stock will take a hit, but Bitcoin's not going to take a hit, because keep in mind, China banned Bitcoin, and Bitcoin still went on a bull market. And the USA is not going to ban Bitcoin. They're just trying to push out these exchanges. So it does suck. The United States is just turning into a third world shithole, and you can see it just walking down the street if you're a U.S. citizen. But I don't think this would absolutely kill crypto. All right, what else do I want to talk about? It's always funny, like, is it this article, Bitcoin falls on worries about interest rates. That's not why Bitcoin fell. Bitcoin fell because of leverage and, longs got liquidated. I always go on CNBC or Barron's or something like that, and every time the stock market, like, takes a dump, they put, like, a reason why. They'll be like, the Dow is down 400 points out of concerns of China, or investors are worried about CPI numbers. But it's just like they make it up. Like, they have to have a reason. And that kind of goes back to what I've always been saying about market sentiment. Like, humans we're like monkeys. And there always has to be a reason. We have these 4-year cycles in crypto. We know in between the bear market and the bull market, Bitcoin's going to be crazy volatile. But every time there's a pump and every time there's a dump, there has to be like a reason. Like these news organizations have to come up with a reason. But yeah, sometimes there is a reason, like if longs get liquidated, but they never come up with the right reason. They just make it up. They're like, okay, Bitcoin dumped today. Why? Oh, I don't know why. Okay, we'll just say Bitcoin dumped because I don't know, uncertainty about interest rates. I mean, it's like this just goes to show, like, really is the news media and these news articles are just written by the stupidest of people. It really is the dumb money out there. Folks, Bitcoin went from $16,000 to $30,000. We're due for a dump. Even if Bitcoin drops back down to $25,000, I don't think that's the end of the world. But now, I was listening to Soloway yesterday. I'm going to play a little bit of Gareth Soloway. Yeah, so Gareth Soloway, as you guys know, he's been like the god. Everybody thinks he's the god of the last year because he kind of called the top on Bitcoin. Well, he did call the top, but over the last year, he's been overall bearish, which most people have been, at least over the last 2 years, ever since we dumped off that high. I'll never forget Gareth Soloway. We're at $15,000 Bitcoin. He's telling everybody we're probably going down to 3,000. He said we're probably going to hit 8,000, but my worst case scenario is 3. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. So I'm just like unloading my paychecks and buying Bitcoin, Cardano. I'm buying everything. So he was proven wrong, just like guys like just like guys like DataDash. But now he's still out. Now, I'm not like disparaging Gareth Soloway. I do like him. I just think he was wrong on that. But he's still calling for a major dump, a major recession, and Bitcoin probably going back down to $8,000. Is it possible? Absolutely, folks. I'm not going to come out here and say Bitcoin can't go down to $8,000. Even going back to the charts I was showing you guys on Bitcoin, it's extremely volatile. I mean, even 2019, $3,000 Bitcoin, then up to 11,000, then right back down to 6. So yeah, we could absolutely lose all of the gains that we got, and it would suck, and the altcoins are going to get clobbered if that happens. But we do know that Bitcoin halving is in a year, or actually 8 or 9 months from now, or 10 months, or whatever it is. So it's absolutely crazy to be like, oh, I'm getting out of the market right now because we could dump. Like, yeah, but who cares? Because next year we're going up and we're going to have 2 years of bull market. So here's a little bit of Gareth Soloway.
Let's talk about what happened. Let's talk about the strength that we've seen and why we saw this strength, and then we can get your projections forward.
Sure, absolutely. So as of now, anyways, Bitcoin remains just underneath a major technical level, this 30,500 level. We've hammered on it. We can see, in fact, on the chart right here, lots of resistance. We've tried to push above it. Each time we're failing, at least at this point. Yesterday, we pulled back pretty sharply and then rallied back today as there's kind of a risk-on attitude back in the market. But the bottom line is this 30,500 level. Number one, it's an even number, so it's anytime you get above a 30,000 or a 40, there's always going to be a tendency to get kind of the last people in the trade, which weirdly enough is not the best thing, because once you get those last people in, you don't have a lot of new buyers. And so I think that's what's happening here with crypto. We're into this level where if we zoom out, this was the low from the 2021 bull market cycle. And it was also the low right here. And we've basically done a round trip. And I know I have a lot of lines on the chart, but we've done a round trip from that breakdown, which occurred in June of 2022, all the way back to where we are right now. So again, if we look back here, and again, this area here to here, that's where we're hammering on right now. And to me, that's a huge psychological level. And it's also a level where it will pivot me into thinking that the low is in. If we successfully hold above 30,500 for multiple days, I'm really looking for 5 to 7 days, then to me, you probably do have a low on Bitcoin in. As of now, I'm not convinced of it. I still think this is a bear market rally. I still think there's more shoes to drop in the risk asset market.
And keep in mind, this was recorded before the dump. So he's pretty much saying, look, we have to stay above 30,500 for at least 5 days. And he does make a point that we get rejected pretty hard when we get above 30,500. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that was my next question, whether or not this rally has changed your short-term direction. I know you were a long-term bullish, and we can get to that, but I know short-term you have been bearish on Bitcoin. The rally, though, has that changed your mind?
No, the rally hasn't really. I mean, again, if we look back at the bear market of 2017, 2018, 2019, I mean, we had rallies from 3,500 all the way back to 10,000 and then back to 3,500. So you've had these bounce.
So this is a really good point, and I do love Gary Soloway. I'm just saying, my point with Gary Soloway is, if he was telling you Bitcoin was going down to 8,000 or 3,000 and you didn't buy at 15,000 or 16,000, and we don't go back down, you lost a lot of money and lost out. That's why you have to have skin in the game, and that's what I've always been saying. But he's making a really good point, and he's making the same point that I just made 5 minutes ago, that if you look at Bitcoin charts, we get crazy bear market rallies, like 100% rallies, 200% rallies, $3,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 Bitcoin a few months later, then right back down to 3. So I'm not disparaging that. I'm not a perma bull, except for going into that bull market. But yes, we could lose these gains, and that's what Gary Soloway thinks. In a nutshell, he thinks this is a bear market rally. We're probably going to go back down to $10,000, hit the lows. We're going to have a really, really bad second half of 2023, and then next year he thinks Bitcoin's going to shine, and he is long-term bullish on Bitcoin. So either way, my point is either way. Say Gary Soloway's right. Bear market rally, Bitcoin goes back down to 16,000, Cardano goes back down to 25 cents, and you were buying Cardano at 25, 30, 35 cents. You were buying Bitcoin at 15, 16, 17, 18, $20,000. You lose all those gains. You lose them all. Who cares? I mean, is it really worth selling right now in the hopes we dump back down to that? But if we don't, then you got to buy back in higher. It's a flip of a coin. That's the way I see it. It's not worth it. If you want to do that with like $1,000 or $500, yeah, do your little trading if you got to get it out of your system. But even if we do get a massive dump right now, say we get a big dump and we go back down to $25,000 Bitcoin, all the bears are going to come out and say, we're going back down to 15,000. It's over. It was a bear market rally. And then we could shoot right back up to $35,000 or $30,000. So I'm not playing that game, folks. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. Been in these markets since 2017. I'm just trying to buy crypto as cheap as I can to sell it next year. It's so simple. It's so simple. All right, folks, that's pretty much it. I like to cover all my bases. I don't want to be a perma bull. I want to let you know there is there is possible bearishness, and Gary Soloway does have a pretty good track record. I'd say he's like 70% right. So, but if we do get that dump back down to $20,000 or $15,000, I would say Gary Soloway is basically a god. And then I'm going to join the Gary Soloway is a god club, and I'm just going to basically do anything that Gary Soloway says, because that's a pretty good call. But the problem is, like I said, Bitcoin might drop down to $28,000, $27,000, or whatever. Cardano might drop back down to 35 cents, and everybody's going to be calling for a 5-cent Cardano again, a $10,000 Bitcoin, and everybody's going to get so bearish, and then Bitcoin's going to do what it always does, because we're going to be getting closer to the halving, coming out of the summer, and then Bitcoin's just going to shoot right back up, and you lost out on all the gains. So be aware, always have skin in the game. If you want to trade a little bit, that's fine too. But for me, I think with less than a year left until the Bitcoin halving, it just don't matter what happens right now as far as dumping. If we dump, we dump. In fact, honestly, if Bitcoin drops back down to $15,000 or Cardano drops back down to 35 cents or 30 cents, all that means is I'm going to buy more and make more money next year. So as much as it's going to hurt, because I'm not buying Cardano at 45 cents or 42 cents. I already bought too much at 25 cents. I'm not buying Theta at $1.20. I'm not even buying Theta at $1. I'm not buying Litecoin at $95. I'm not buying Litecoin at $100. The only way I'm buying more crypto now is if it dumps hard. So the more dump we get now, the more I'm rewarded later. That's the way I see it. But I also think there's a very good chance we'll be right back up to $30,000 at some point this week. All right, folks, like and subscribe.